Welcome to Heart's Home, where soul meets strategy, the mystical meets the practical, and the journey home to yourself is the greatest adventure of all. This is a space for new paradigm leaders, visionaries, soul-preneurs, heart-led guides, space holders, way showers, and grid workers. For those who know they came here for something more and are ready to embody their infinite power, live their purpose, and co-create a new way of being. Through our meta series, Conscious Conversations, we explore the journey of self actualization, soul expansion, and divine alignment. I'm your host, Lizzie Siegel, and today, get ready to feel good, as this conscious conversation is sure to have you smiling from ear to ear. Today's guest is someone I knew I would resonate with the moment he walked through my front door in January of 2024 to attend my 111 Vision Board workshop. From the very first interaction, Hamza Taqi's joyful presence, lens of infinite possibility, and genuine character stood out to me. His bright smile is a reflection of his spirit, grounded, clear, and full of purpose. While my vision board was a colorful collage of expansive dreams, as a true multi-passionate, Hamza's was focused with laser-sharp clarity. One goal stood above the rest, writing his book and bringing it to life. That level of devotion has stuck with me. As someone who often feels called in multiple directions, I admire people who hold a singular focus with such unwavering dedication. When I find myself juggling too many things at once, I remember Hamza's presence in that room and remind myself to pare down and to return to what matters most and to trust in the divine timing. Over the past year, our paths have crossed at many events in Kuwait. It's a vibration thing. Each time, I'm inspired by the work he's doing to bring out the best in others, amplify their gifts, and help them shine their lights. In today's episode, we're diving into his journey, what he's here to do in this world, and the purpose he feels called to fulfill, and the wisdom he's gathered along the way. I'm so excited for you to experience his energy and his insights. So, grab your favorite beverage, get comfy, and join us for an episode of Conscious Conversations here on Heart's Home. Welcome to Heart's Home. I'm Lizzie Siegel, and I'm so grateful to share this space and have a conscious conversation with my friend Hamza Taqi. Hamza is a seasoned team coach, master performance consultant, contributing author, chartered marketeer, and electrical engineer with over 30 years of experience in banking, telecom, and talent development. Hamza's expertise lies in developing the business of multinational brands, where he found his passion and life purpose through the marketing mix, specifically the people element. Since 2008, as the Chief Excitement Officer for Knowledge Consulting Co., Hamza has dedicated his life to developing people, firmly believing that they can do wonders if they are able and willing. His favorite quote, "What a man can do, another can," has inspired thousands of individuals throughout his workshops, keynotes, and interventions. With his Master Trainer designation and Master Instructional Design certifications from the Association for Talent Development, Hamza has also gained expertise in coaching, consulting, change management, and facilitation in synchronous learning. He is a certified facilitator of the FISH philosophy and an accredited situational leadership 2 facilitator by Ken Blanchard. Hamza's passion for learning and growth is evident from his early days as a trainer at the Institute of Banking Studies in 1992 to his current role as a people development strategist. His skills and his knowledge have enabled him to make a positive impact on individuals and organizations alike, helping them realize their potential and achieve success. Without further ado, let's welcome Hamza to the Heart's Home podcast. Hamza, welcome, and thank you so much for being here today.
The pleasure is all mine to be in Heart Home and to be with you in the same wavelength and in the same platform. And I hope that we gain something out of this conversation.
Thank you so much. I'm sure not only will we gain something out of this conversation, even if it's just these smiley, positive vibes, I know that our listeners, our viewers, however they're tuning in, are going to glean the golden nuggets that are meant for them to glean. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Liz. It's
Mm.
really a pleasure to be here.
The pleasure is mine. Today, the one of my favorite parts of this podcast is I like to play games. And so we have a game that we have at the beginning of the podcast, and also it continues to the end of the podcast. And it weaves throughout all the other podcasts with conscious conversation guests. So at the beginning, we pass the baton. It's called the cosmic baton, and it's imaginary baton. And I'm going to pass it to you right now so you can take hold of this cosmic baton. And it has been infused with the wisdom or the message from the previous guest. And our previous guest infused this cosmic baton with the intention of trust. And the idea here is that it will resonate with you on whatever level it needs to resonate. And if you feel called to share with us, if it's resonating with you, please do.
The trust is a big word. And trust is the foundation for any relationship because we, as a human being, we interact. And that makes a relationship in whatever way it is, be it at the workplace, be it at home, in the community, through Zoom, through social media, whatever it is. The base is trust. And if we don't have that base, everything we build, it's going to collapse. So trust is one of the foundation for any, success story, for any engagement, interaction. And trust is like, I like to use Blanchard ABCD model for the trust. And it says that A, uh, in order for me to trust Liz, Liz have to show me her ability. So she has to be able, okay? And then the B is for she has to be believable, okay? And then the C is she has to connect in a more like with heart to heart. And then the D is is what's the D? I forgot the name. The D is for A B C D. It's D is trying to get my photographic memory downloading that image, but I can
Take
get it
your
very
time.
quickly. Yeah, I
No,
can get
take your time.
very
There
quickly.
is no rush.
Yes, indeed. So when you are able, uh, uh, you people kind of trust you, they trust your ability, um, uh, uh, and when you are believable, uh, you know when you are believable, when you are talking genuinely from the heart, and you don't have any agenda, kind of you just want to be there and do uh, moment to moment to moment a positive impact, okay, on people. And then the people that you are with, enable for them to trust you. You have to connect with them all the time. You have to be connected and seeing where. And then the D is dependable. So
Mm.
so when you are able, when you are connected, when you are able, when you are believable, and when you are connected, and when you are dependable, people will trust you. And when they trust you, they can share, with you. They can be very vulnerable. and share, especially for leaders, because sometimes when we work with leaders, we feel like they are, our bosses, and we cannot be vulnerable, and we cannot show our weaknesses sometimes. And it happened to me personally, in my first, years when I was working. I thought, no, I'm not supposed to show that I am weak in that area, or I don't understand this. Uh, I don't know. It helped me somehow in my career, but it's not the way. I wouldn't advise anyone to do that. It's better to come forward and say that that you don't know, and you need more information. You need more coaching, or guidance to do what you do, so you don't make you avoid making the mistakes. So that
Mm.
I get from trust.
That, thank you. First of all, that was not only a really genuine answer, but it was so in depth and it taught us so much. So, wow, thank you. This is like just the beginning, and I'm so excited to continue diving in with you. You are a wealth of
Thank you.
knowledge, and
Thank you.
I have watched lots of your interviews. I have been following what you've been doing for the last couple of years that I've known you, and I respect deeply the way that you interact with humans. And you are a leader to exemplify, and you truly lead by example, which is one of the things I think is most beautiful about you. And I have a few leaders in my life and people who've been like, they didn't even maybe know that I was like considering them mentors or just people I watch and want to emulate. And what resonates with me about all of them, and you included, is that you lead with the heart. And that I think matters most. When we lead with love, then we expand. And as you said, we've learned from different experiences of our life where love hasn't been the leading principle, or we've been doing things out of fear, and how
Yeah.
contractive of an experience that is. So I just want to say thank you for leading by example and leading with love and sharing in a different way than so many leaders are sharing, because the work you do speaks volumes for itself.
Well, because it matters, Liz, right? It matters. I mean, especially when it comes to leaders, because leaders can make people and then can break them. It's what
Yes.
they say, how they behave with people. It makes a big difference. Yeah,
Ah,
and we always need leaders,
always.
especially women leaders.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're razzing, yo.
I mean, Liz, I mean, if you see what happened during the the COVID, uh, we saw some leaders how they came, and how they talked, and really put fear in their people. And we saw some of the women leaders how they went out and talked to their people in a very empathetic way, and in very like you can. Uh, encouragement. you know
Mm,
they see the end of the light at the end of the tunnel. And
mhm.
that's what leaders should do. They should inspire their people to see uh, how they are going in the future, because it's a VUCA world. We don't know what's going to happen, right?
Ah,
And leaders are there for that reason, really, because they don't do much. Leaders, right? They
mhm.
Most of the work is done by their people.
Yes. Leaders, this is what I always say about leaders.
Yeah.
Leaders are not somebody who has followers. They are the people who go first, they forge the path, and they hold the vision for what is possible. They are the way showers of this world. And that is why, like, I mean, it's why I do what I do. And it took me a long time to get to this point, and
Yeah.
all of it was on purpose, for purpose.
Amazing.
Thanks. Okay, so let's then jump into some questions, because I'm sure our audience wants to know more about you and what you do. So
Yeah.
I would love for you to share. a little bit about your life journey. And in this podcast, I talk a lot about spirituality and spiritual awakening. And so if that resonates with you, you can speak to that aspect. If not, you can just totally speak to the life journey and what the catalyst for you, or that aha moment where you were like, oh, okay, I'm moving this way now.
Uh, if I look at my life, I mean, from the beginning, I thought I was lucky. I mean, I didn't go into any kind of like huge drama or panic or some, disastrous in my life, and I thank God for that. Uh, but but we as a human, we don't come with a instructional manual. There is no instruction manual, so we have to find out for ourselves what our purpose, why are we here in this life, how did we came here. I mean, if we ask our audience, did you ask to be here in this world, and immediately everybody will say, no, I didn't ask. Or did you ask your mom or your dad, why did they bring you here? And even the mom and the dad, they didn't ask to be here. So in that way, uh, we are all selected by the Almighty to be on this planet Earth. And that's awakening for me, is that changed my life. I mean, that's the aha moment that made me realize that, it's not me, it's not because I'm a Kuwaiti or my name is Hamza. These are all things that has been given to me, and I am here in this world, in this life. I mean, some people, they say you live once, and they say no, you live every day. There is a new life for you. Every day there is a new life. Okay,
Yes.
but it's like you are, you're told by your parents, by your surrounding, by the environment, you have to study hard, you have to do your homework, and you get good grades, so you go and get to a beautiful university or a good university, and you have to become a doctor or an engineer or all these accountant or lawyer, and so people are, they're going in that direction just because of what we've been told by our parents or by our surrounding. Uh, so I went navigated life like I was, like, playing when I was kids with the neighbors, and then I went to Canada. I went to Montreal to study when I was 19 years old, and really, really, I wanted to get out. I wanted to see the world, because if I go back when I was 14, 15, uh, the school took us, the Boy Scout, to Switzerland, a place called Kandersteg. It's a camp, international camp, Jamboree. And when we went there, we were told not to talk to a certain nationality. Okay. So the people, they come, they say hello, we don't say hello to them. And we were young, we didn't know what's going on. And then fast forward, we met some, people from Bahrain, and they became our friends. And then my friend told me, let's go visit our friend in Bahrain. And we were like 15, it's I've traveled, but with my dad and my parents. Uh, but then he said, let's go for the weekend. And the weekend back then is only, you go Thursday, you come back Friday.
Yeah.
So, so we went, you know, this was like before high school even. And the guys there took us, and with the chauffeur, and they took us to their house. We had lunch, and then they took us to another house. We had dinner, and then as we come late to the hotel, um, my friend told the other guy, the Bahraini guy, to come with us to the room. And he said, no, it's too late. It's after 10 and stuff. Then he insisted, so he came. And then as if we want to get into the hotel, this is like, there is a guard. He stood at the door like this. He's not allowing us to go. And I asked him why. He said, no, you cannot get a guest after 10. It's forbidden. So my friend told him, wakhir, 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 leave, 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 we are going. And then we had a fight. And and the police came, and we had to sign, a letter not to do this again. Because we were kids, they let us go. But we found out then that the guy who we thought he was the guard, and he was the owner of the hotel. Okay, and that was shocking for us, because we didn't think, like, because we know, like, when I was 14, up to 14 years old, I didn't see the world. I didn't see people. I didn't see people other than what I saw in my environment. So these kind of people, if you tell them, like, leave me alone or get away, he will get away. So we didn't, like, this was like an opening when I was kid. It's like, oh, there are people who are in this, they are rich, they can own stuff and stuff. And that's, it brings me to a humility, and to see, and connected with what I said before, is that we are chosen by God to be here. Who are we, or who am I to judge another person? Who am I to judge a tree? Who am I to judge a dog or a cat or any kind of creating by God? I should be very humble, and I should respect planet
Mm.
Earth. I should respect Mother Earth. I should respect the people on this planet. I should respect the animals, everything, the air, the sea, uh, and not to do things to 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 hurt, or to somehow give bad energy to another person, because God is watching us, and He
Mhm.
is seeing how we are treating each other, and He's seeing, like, us. Like, for me, I thought, in our religion is the only religion, and that's it. And the others have no religion. They don't know God. They don't know anything. Only us, we know, and that's really, really, makes me small when I think about it. It's like, come on, man, get out of this box. Go see the world. So through my life, I was always searching for these things, and I noticed them. And when I landed the job uh, as an engineer, uh, basically most people, I mean, most of my friends and colleagues, I mean, from school, they went to the oil sector. Okay. Uh, but I went to the banking sector, and I was fortunate because my boss was people oriented. He's like
Mm.
relationship oriented. So the environment was really nice, and I was learning new stuff, new things, new uh, issues, and the people who taught me, the team, there are four teams. They're from different nationalities, and I'm the only one who is Kuwaiti. And I've been brought to be a management trainee. So I was brought to be, in the management. So after 2 years, they taught me the work, and then I was promoted to be the supervising them. And that was like, for me, come on, how can I supervise the people who taught me? I mean, all the knowledge that I know, all the skills that I have from these people, they took me by the hand, and they guided me, and they showed me the way. And it's true, I became an excellent at it. I became superstar, and everybody loves me in the bank. But I thought, how can I be a supervisor? And I was thinking, like, I'm gonna now order them. I'm gonna ask them to do this and to do that and direct them. and but it's not me. I am a people oriented as well, and I'm a relationship person. So the first day when I was promoted, the next day I sat with them. I went to them rather than I asked them to come to my cubicle. I had a different cubicle by myself, and I was with them in one cubicle, big cubicle, and our desk are together as a team, which is beautiful. Now I'm teaching team work, and I say to people, the environment should reflect the teamwork. Like the supervisor should be in the center, and around him all the desk, and he can see and interact with everybody, not to put him in a locked room. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I went to them and I said to them, listen, guys, I'm feeling awkward because now I'm your supervisor, and all the things that I know, it's because of you. And one of them looked at me and said, Hamza, you are really nice. And I said, thank you for saying this, but I'm really, I genuinely don't know what to do. Then they said, no, we will support you. You are a very kind person. You are very nice, and we understand it's quietization and so on. And I was able to win their heart, and I was able to have them support me and work even harder than if I went in a way where I said, I'm your boss, you don't talk to me. If you want to talk to me, you send me emails or this and that, and create that, that halo effect that, I'm separate than you. I'm more, it's like army, in the army, when you get something, the regular people,
Yeah.
they must give you, a salute. This is not how you deal with people. People have hearts. They have mind. They have soul. Uh, they have brain with knowledge. They have hands with skills, and we need to appreciate them, and we need to get the best out of them to make them successful, to make them uh, uh, make their own legacy. And if they make their own legacy, uh, you have made your own legacy. And that really, the foundation of that, it came from my boss. And not that I'm saying that, my last job was the CMO, the chief marketing officer to one of the telecom companies. Even that, like after like 20 years of work, huh? Even then, I was not good. I mean, as a leader, and I made some mistakes. And now, if I go back, I wouldn't make those mistakes because I know much better now. And life teaches us, right? I mean, we make mistake, and if we learn from them, it's good. It's a good mistake. But if we don't learn from them, that's a bad mistake. We don't have a manual. I mean, you buy a mobile, you have a manual. You cut up in YouTube, you find solutions and stuff. But for us as a human, we don't have. We had to go through many hurdles, many challenges, and these challenges really, it's there for a purpose, to make us grow, to make us shine, to take the better step ahead, to prepare us for what's coming next. Uh, but now you look at it in retrospects, and you see these, in your life, these ups and downs that are happens, and I don't know. I would like to ask your audience if they ever had, a bad situation, or we call it bad situation, but after 5 years or something, you look back at that bad situation and say, "Oh my God, that was the best thing that happened to me." So I was always in the search. Who am I? What am I here for? What's my purpose
Mhm.
in this life? How do I create my legacy? And I found myself, in year 10 in the banking. Uh, my boss's boss asked me a question, and that was like a light bulb. Uh, uh, he told me, "You are not a certified marketeer. You're an engineer, and to grow in the bank, you need to get your qualification." And he told me about CIM, the Chartered Institute of Marketing in UK, in Berkshire. And he said the bank will sponsor you. And I immediately went through a 5 level, and I became a chartered marketeer, which is the highest qualification in marketing. And all the big companies like Coca-Cola and all these huge, companies, they hire marketeers, chartered marketeers. So, and from there, I learned that, uh, you know, uh, in the marketing, for any entrepreneur, you have to have a product, right? I mean, to or service. And then you have to price it competitively, hopefully, unless it is something luxury, then you have skimming pricing. Uh, and then you have to promote it so people know that Liz have that product, right? And then you have to have a place from it. Like now we are our place in this, we're using, this platform. Uh, and then they added another three P's to the marketing mix. And these three P's, they call them the service P's or the service mix. And these, people element, and then the process and the physical evidence. So this is became a light bulb when they say people, and I said people. Oh, people are the most important in any organization, and I should be focusing on the people element, because there is no marketeers in the world that can focus on all seven. You see marketeers, they call themselves they're all advertising, promotion, advertising, promotion. You see other people, they're all in product development, product sourcing, and product. And you see people who are into the pricing, strategic pricing, and skimming, or penetration pricing, and they're really it's an industry by itself. So I said,
Mhm.
and because I was, doing as a part-timer, training and developing, because I became in the bank SME in sales and customer service. So I was training the newcomers and stuff. And then at the IBS, so I said, maybe I should specialize in this. And after 10 years, I'll quit my job. Look how life goes on now. And I started, really, really, the 10 years after my chartered marketeer, I even quit the bank because the bank was like very regulated, and there is no, no freedom in terms of innovation and marketing. And so I switched to telecom. Okay. So I went to telecom, and I worked with one company. I was supposed to work with them for 3 years to develop their branches network. They had 10 branches. We made them 35. And then they gave me another assignment to work on the B2B business, to establish a new business. And I did that for another 4 years. And then my last job was the CMO, I mean, the chief marketing or commercial officer in one of the telecom company. And I was making a lot of money. I, I mean, I get the bonus and oof, a lot of money. I mean, I was like all the kids' schools, insurance, like first class tickets, and I travel 4 times a year going to different conferences, different festivals and stuff, like the Cannes Festival of Advertising. uh,
Oh, cool.
yeah, it was fun, but the environment was toxic. Like, and I went to my boss and I told him, we have to change some of the stuff, because most of the senior management in the area, they were started complaining. And because I'm a listener and I'm a people oriented, so people come to me and with all these energy, negative energy. So I talked to the CEO, and he said, no, 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 everything is good, everything is fine, no need to change. Said, let's say within the first week, in the first meeting for the directors, I saved them $1 million. It's not like it's not like creativity, or it's
Mhm.
basic. They buy a SIM card for $2, and I told them the same company, the same source, they sell SIM card for $1. Why are we buying two? And their consumption is 1 million a year. So they
Mm,
were spending $2 million for SIM. And then when I told them about this, they of course they resisted in the beginning, but then I made my case, and they said, okay, fine, because the two SIM card has more memory.
mm,
And they're planning to put games and stuff and application and stuff, but then they were not ready. So why spend the money or something. When they are ready, then we can buy the $2. So, and I was like seeing the things that are happening. It's a lot of money happening and a lot of things, and I said, no, I cannot survive in this, and I cannot. I have my personal brand. I don't want to ruin my reputation being associated with a toxic organization like this. So I went and talked to my boss, and he said, no, 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 everything is beautiful, everything is good. We're going with the same thing, and don't worry, just sign the invoices. So I went to my office and I quit, just like that. Boom. And from my wife was gonna kill me, because I started taking money from her. You know, from getting all this prestige and then to zero.
Mhm,
But of course, I had a plan for my own company because
mhm,
remember 10 years ago, I said to myself, because of the people element in the marketing mix, I said to myself, in 10 years from now, I will have my own company. And that was exactly 2008, exactly 10, 20 years of working 9 to 5. So I
mhm,
quit at the right time. And it was the best decision that I ever had. My brother said, who leaves such a job? You are nincompoop.
mm. What you say there is so important. And I just want to anchor into that for
Yeah,
the audience that is listening, for the people who come across this, because it's such a big part about what I speak about. Maybe I'm getting into it more in the podcast, but definitely
yes,
in my private containers and the spaces that I'm
correct.
in.
Mm,
I have worked with people who seem to have it all.
mm,
They have the money, they've reached the accolades, they have big names and they have big blah blah blah. Yet deeply they're unfulfilled, they're unsatisfied. And on the Instagram or on the internet, wherever they're appearing, they look like top tier, like like they're the happiest, it couldn't go wrong. Yet deeply they're unsatisfied, they're unfulfilled. I just want to take a quick pause here because if you've been feeling stuck in cycles of stress, dissatisfaction, or survival, I want you to know there is another way. Right now, I'm offering one to one Psych K sessions. Psych K is a powerful modality that helps reprogram subconscious beliefs and shifts the internal patterns that keep you from experiencing the freedom, alignment, and ease that you desire. Whether you're struggling with self worth, money blocks, relationships, or just feeling like there's an invisible barrier between you and the life you know you're meant to have, this work clears the path. For those ready to go all in, these one to one sessions are so transformative. And we also plan in an action step with follow up accountability piece so that you truly can move in the direction of the life you say you prefer. If you're feeling called and you'd like to experience a one to one transformational session of Psych K with me, there's a link in the show notes to book your connection call and see if this is the right fit for you. For those ready to go all in, I also offer a 12-week private container, Limits to Launchpad. This is a deep transformational journey where we illuminate and transmute your core wounds, limiting beliefs, and shadows so that you can re-perceive reality through a new lens and truly live the life that you desire. The truth is, the only limits that exist are the ones that you create by the constructs of your own mind. And once you see that and you know that, those very limits become the launch pads to your liberation. And you begin to know and live your purpose. Embrace your unique gifts and talents. Trade stress and satisfaction for joy, alignment, and bliss. I've worked with so many people stuck in unfulfilling jobs, relationships, and environments, literally feeling trapped, like there's no way out. And I get it because that was me too. But everything changed when I learned how to regulate my nervous system, use my emotional signals rather than silence them, and recognize that I was creating my own suffering. And then step into my sovereignty as an empowered creator. And I didn't do it alone. I had mentors, I had teachers, I had guides who reflected my power back to me. I know for a fact that I wouldn't be here where I am today without that support. As I always say, this journey is not meant to be a solo journey, the SOLO journey. It's meant to be a soul, oh, there you are journey, walking this path together in a remembrance of our divinity as we come back home to our hearts. You are so worthy and deserving of investing in yourself. You are always your best investment. And the ROI, the return on investment, is exponential. So if not now, when? And if not, yes, why not? And I ask those questions with so much curiosity and so much compassion. And if you're still on the fence about this, really dive into those questions and allow yourself to sit with whatever answer comes up. And whether it's me that you choose to reach out to and work with, I just want you to take some time to really consider, what is it that's holding you back from becoming your best version of self? And what would it take for you to say yes to yourself and to go all in on you and to truly live the life that you say you prefer? Because as we talk about, it's not about waiting for the outside world to change and then we change. We have to change first on the inside. We be the change that we wish to see in the world. When we change, the outer reflection of reality will change. It's not the other way around. So if any of this is speaking to your soul, let's connect. You can find the links and all the information, details on how to get in touch with me in the show notes below. I look forward to hearing from you. And I even listen to, a lot of other podcasts that I've listened to interviews with like the Dean Graziosis, who's like this big um, coaching guru. And he was saying in an interview that he reached to the point where he was around, like he became a millionaire when he was in his 20s, but he
Mm.
didn't feel safe and he didn't feel secure in his life until he was like closer to his 40s because he hadn't actually understood or sunk into that it's no amount of money is going to make you happy. No amount of money is going to fulfill your life. It's the feeling that we think the money will bring us that we're always chasing. And so when you can merge the two, that's beautiful. But if you're just doing things for the external result, thinking that your happiness is contingent upon that, you're missing the point because it's not unconditional. The happiness comes from within. And once we have that, we attract more of the abundance into our lives in all the ways.
Very
So
true.
thank you for saying that.
True. Very true. Because we tend. I mean, I'm guilty at that. We tend to see that success or happiness is outside. It's external,
Mhm.
and it's in the objects that or the physical stuff that we get in terms of clothing, cars, and houses, and villas, and so on. It's not there. It's not outside. All these physical stuff are mind you, I'm not saying money is good. Have it.
I know.
Okay.
Absolutely. Have
Yeah,
the money,
and
enjoy
use
the
it.
money.
Yeah, and give it back because it's not your money.
Yes.
Actually. Let it circulate and
Yes.
benefit others out of it, not to keep it in the bank and
Mhm.
get dividends. No, just put for example, an organization, let people work, they service their community, they service their families and stuff like that, and money will generate more and more rather than you know these people who just keep the money in the bank and then they die and then their inheritance take them. uh, 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 So money is good, but as you said, it's not the money that makes me happy. I should be happy from the inside. I should be content from the inside. And I didn't know that. Uh, and I was always want to accumulate more, 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 more. But then, as you said, it wasn't. It wasn't. At that job, I was making a lot of money, but I wasn't feeling well. I couldn't sleep. You know, uh, so happiness and peace is within us. It's inherent. It's it's something that we are born with. When you see a little child, the baby,
Yes.
they're so cute and they're full of integrity and respect and happiness and peace. Uh, this is how we are really
Hmm.
in through us. But somehow, with the environment that we raised in, the things that we got, education sometimes it played a big role in school and friends and relatives and stuff like that. And then that part, it started, having some layers of dust, and it's hidden, and we need to clean it and come up, bring it up, and live from within. And if we are inside, um, introverted, we feel the joy. I mean, there's this area here in the heart. It's full of beautiful chemicals we don't know of. We're always hanging on here in our brain. We need to come in a parachute, slowly, and come and stay
Mm.
here in this area, because it's really beautiful, and make you feel peace. Uh, and then when you are good from the inside, oh, you will radiate goodness. You will give love. They say, when you don't have it, how can you give it? So when you're content with yourself, with peaceful, then you can give it to other, and people can feel it from you. So yes, you're right. Absolutely.
The journey that you're speaking to is exactly the people that I connect with. I know you connect with a lot with. Um, and it is this journey of deconditioning. We grow up our lives, and like you said, the environment, the family, the school, the culture, the society,
Yeah.
whatever your environment is.
Yes.
And I want to make this so clear. This
Mhm.
is not a game of blame. This is
No.
not a game of um, playing victim or pointing fingers. What this
Mhm.
is just a bringing awareness to the human experience. We
Absolutely.
come into this world knowing and remembering that we are whole, worthy, pure,
Mm.
love. We're at our essence. That's why babies are so miraculous, right? And then as we go through life, this is part of the journey of life. This is part of the game we signed up for. We get all this conditioning, we get all of this programming put on to ourselves and into ourselves so that we can learn how to be human, so that we can learn how to anchor into this physical reality. And it is through this journey that we learn all this stuff so that
Mm.
we can go, oh, well, how does that actually feel with me? How does that actually sit with me? And we can begin to, as we get a little bit older, because I think that the conditioning process, I know it for certain takes place from the time we're before 0 years old to 7, but then it
Yes.
really continues all the way until we're about 25 when our
Subconsciously.
yes, and our brain fully forms at around 25 years old. And so from the time we're 0 to 25 years old, we are literally going on a journey of getting programmed, getting all this conditioning, getting all this learning placed upon us, but it's not to harm us, it's not to hurt us. It's literally just to anchor us into the physical reality so that we
Mm.
can also go, okay, well then what is really true for me? How can I return to the essence that is me? And then we begin the process of deconditioning, of unlearning, of truly going on the journey of finding out who are we? What did I come here for? What is
Mm.
my purpose? And there's so many people that they don't necessarily have to go through such a conditioning and then
Yeah.
deconditioning process, especially the newer generations coming in. And
They're lucky.
that's, yeah, there's, it's so beautiful. Like,
Yeah,
you know, my generation, I feel like is one of the generations that is still unpacking and like going, oh, why did all this happen to me? But then you
yeah,
go, no, it happened for me. It
yeah,
happened for me so that I could realize the inherent worthiness of my being. And so my generation and the ones before me,
mm,
it's been a real journey. And the ones coming up after us, not to say that they're not going through
yeah,
hardships and things, not to diminish
yeah,
that, but
yeah.
they remember who they are more and more and more. And as we continue moving through the future, we're gonna see people being like, you that, that that's not a thing. We don't operate in that manner anymore.
Becomes
And
old fashioned.
yeah, and it is old fashioned because we're not meant to be the same. We're not meant to fit into these structures and into these
Right.
boxes that society says. We're not meant to operate like a machine. We are meant to use our emotions to allow us to navigate this journey and not need the external to validate the internal. It's the other way around. And so part of what you do, I know, and part of what I do is help remind people and remind them again and again and again so they can remember their power and they can remember their essence and not forget it.
Absolutely. I like this, repetition. Repetition is very important because it's been years, since we had this condition. And to deconditions, we need to repeat, repeat, repeat until, everyone gets it. And I feel that this is part of my role or my purpose in life to, to, to help people see the world in a different eyeglasses, and to reach their essence quicker.
Hmm.
Need to go through the ups and downs and stuff because there is a short way, and really, when just by thinking that you are as body, you know, you come to this life. You have nothing. You don't even have clothes. Your parents put clothes for you, and they clean you and they feed you, and you don't do nothing. You just cry and they give you everything, and then little by little you grow up, and you're totally dependent on the environment. And then as you become an adult or a teenager, maybe you started becoming more like independent. I remember when I was a teenager, I thought I can live by myself. I don't need my parents. And I had a an issue with my dad, and I left. I left the house and across the street to go to my friend's house to sleep there. Until yeah, and I stayed there until the sunset, and then I told my friend, "Come with me. Let's go back home." Let's walk. He walked me back home, and I said, being independent. I think there is a role for us for being independent. So we go through challenges, difficult sometimes challenges when you are independent, because it's the ego. They're saying, you're saying, no, I'm big enough. I'm a man. From a little girl, she becomes a woman. She feels like she's capable. She can do everything herself. And then you get into troubles. These troubles uh, make you understand that, you know, we say in Kuwait, one hand cannot clap. You need two hands to clap. So you start becoming interdependent. And
Yes.
that's the essence of life. It's like we see each other as, this brings me to another thing that I learned recently from one of my mentors. She says, some people, they say, mine is mine, okay? And what's yours is mine.
Yeah, I know this expression. My mom used to say it. What's mine is mine, and what's yours is mine also.
It's yours is mine. And then there is another look at it. It's like, what's mine is mine, and or what's mine is yours, and what's yours is mine.
Mm.
Okay, that's totally different. And I remember my mom in the old days. she used to ask me when I was a little boy, she'd go to my neighbor and knock at the door and ask for salt. Sometimes ask for tomatoes, because she doesn't have the tomatoes in the kitchen. So we used to do that. Now nobody does that, right? I mean, that in that sense, in the old days, they used to live as neighbors. Like,
Hmm.
what's yours is mine, and what's mine is yours. We're the same. If you need anything, you can
Hmm.
come and get it, and if I need anything, you can come and take it. Uh, so being interdependent, really, it's the maturity. It's when you become mature
Mm.
and you understand that life is all about, since we were hunters and gatherers, we were in communities, we were together, we were like, helping each other, and each one of us had a role to play. One used to go and hunt, and one used to protect the tribe, and so on. So we, in essence, we are social animals. We need each other, and we need to see that, and not to have that arrogancy of uh, my nationality or my religion or my name or my last name or my position. These things are only, um, uh, uh,
Labels.
a role that we play, and it's not us. It's not even us. I mean, we're more of angelic being. We're they say human being, or being having spiritual
We are a
or
spiritual being having a human experience, not a human being having a
having
spiritual experience. We are
exactly.
spirit, all of us, and we are
Yeah.
all part of the same one.
Exactly. We come from the same source, and that's, makes you feel in a different, in a mass elevated level, of the life, that when we go down and we start putting these boundaries and these blocks and that religion and so on. No, we're the same. We're the same, and we
Mm.
should love each other in the same way, and we should respect each other and help each other and extend the lending hand for each other, to be, those elevated spiritual being, to be angelic like, to be godly like behavior. uh, and that's what all of us, our purpose should be, and this should we what we aim for, really. And I love this, and I like everybody to think in that way. And when we think in that way, there's really contentment and peace, and everything will work out.
Mhm.
Because when you're radiating love, when you're loving others, they will love you back, by hook or by crook. They will love you back, because of
Mhm.
your vibration, because of your energy, because of what you are, thinking of, your thoughts. It's your karma.
And I have to mention on top of that,
Mm.
just for like being so clear, especially to
Yeah.
people who are like on this journey, beginning it, maybe they're still kind of trying to figure out how it works. When you say what you say, you're not saying it to say like, if I give love out, I expect I will get love back. That's not
No.
why we do it. We do it without condition, because source, God, all that is unconditional. It doesn't say, oh well, if you love me, I'll love you back.
No.
No, it's
It's
I
giving
radiate
love.
love
Yeah.
because I am the light. And
Mm.
so when you say that we should be loving, this is for those who feel that calling, that they
Mm.
are the light, and they know that they don't need the outside world to validate and give them light. They get their light from the creator. They get their essence from all that is. And it is not up to the outside world to fill them. Their filling comes from source, God, universe, whatever you call it. And them giving it out is not with a condition or an attachment, and it is
Unconditionally.
purely for the state of their own beingness, that they recognize their divine worth, their divine power, their divine source, and they're not afraid of what the outcomes may be.
I
And
love that.
this is the beautiful essence of what we do and why we do what we do, because there, we live in the human experience. And
Yeah.
I'll say a bold statement that
Yeah.
is challenging at times,
Mhm.
because we chose to be here in this human experience, or
Yes.
if we didn't choose, we just happen to be here, but I believe that we chose it,
Yeah.
that we know that there's duality, because that is part of the human game. And so, knowing that there is duality, there are going to be people who are meant to be awake and be loving and be the light unconditionally. And there's also always going to be that polar opposite, the people who are not meant to wake up and be the light. Because if we only had light, we wouldn't be able to see the light. And if we
Yes.
only had darkness, the light wouldn't exist. So we need those polar opposites
That's why we
in
have
this
yin and
human
yang.
experience. Exactly. And there's a
Mhm.
little bit of both
Mm.
in the whole experience, and knowing that the balance point is the center, that's where the power comes, as the paradox. Being in the center point, meaning being able to see both ends of the spectrum and make a choice. That's
Yes.
what the free will of the human is. So
Yes.
thank you for sharing that, because I think it's so crucial that people are allowed to be who they are, and know that it's okay to want love, absolutely. Yet we don't give it only in order to receive it. We give it for this pure joy of giving it.
Yeah, but basically, it's my personal experience. Uh, I've always wanted people to love me. Okay.
Mhm.
But then when I start giving love, people automatically love me. You know,
Yep.
you go into a huge conference with 15,000 people from 50 plus countries, and you don't know anybody of them, and you start, just seeing them as the spirit or the soul that they are, the beauty, the peaceful they are, and immediately you connect, and you make friends, like, yeah.
Mm. And that is like how affinity works. We attract like, and it's not just like the law of attraction. It's literally just like things that are the same, they come together. It's how things work. It's science, it's physics. We draw together. And it's so beautiful how you say that, because, you know, when we recognize the divinity, the soul, the spirit in each and every person, when we speak to that part in them, when we connect with that part in them, all the labels, all the ego, it dissolves. And
Yes.
the negative ego, because if we didn't have an ego, we literally wouldn't be having this experience. We need our ego. That's why we have one. So we get to, like, I get to be the Lizzie ego, you get to
Yes.
be the Hamza
Yes.
ego. And if
Yes.
we didn't have this gorgeous ego, I mean, I guess I'd just be a gorgeous shining light, which would also be nice, but it wouldn't be giving me this physical human experience. And
True.
so honoring the ego and being okay that you have one is
Yes.
also part of this experience. Just like with money, it's okay that you have it. We came and incarnated here to have that experience. It's all welcome, it's all lovable, it's all worthy.
Everything is good.
Yes. Oh, we said that in the last episode that I have. If it came from the creator, it is good, so of course it's
Yes.
all good. I would love for you touched a little bit about this before, and I just want to like go to the idea of, you talked about success,
Mm.
and I want to know how you personally define success now, and
Mm.
how that definition really has evolved as you've grown, because we could hear before like there were different things that you placed emphasis on, but now what does it mean for you?
Success is, I believe, it's connecting with the divine.
Mm.
Because when you said that, I get all the things from the universe, from God, uh, and He gives me all these powers, and just to think, like, when I do some nice program. The other day, one lady, she wrote a comment. It's like I had to capture it because it was like beautiful words she's saying, and it was a long comment, and uh, it's good. I've been doing that lately. It's not me. I didn't do that. It's God. It's God made me do it. It's channeled through me. I just been, the actor, or the in the drama, in the simulation. Uh, and when you relate it to God, uh, you don't have that, that ego, the bad ego, or the the feeling of, oh yeah, being, that I did it, or I am the perfect person. Nobody's perfect. I mean, only God. We try to be, little by little, we learn from God, and we want to be like Him. Because we could be like Satan, if we want. Some people like to be like Satan. So the more we are like godly, like, we behave differently, and that would be the success, because you don't need anything later, that back then. You become like God. Like, God doesn't need anything. Even the prayer that we pray, I pray 5 times a day, doesn't need it. It's for me. God gave it to me to practice, and to get out of this world for at least 5 minutes, 5 times a day, just to, go inward, and connect with God.
Mm.
uh, so yeah, I hear you.
Oh,
Success is basically, when you are connecting with the divine, you're connecting with God, and your life purpose. And when you connect correctly, uh, this is the real praying, even by our thoughts. you know uh, we have to watch for the thoughts, the internal dialogue. What do we tell ourselves? Sometimes we talk to children, our nephews, our nieces, in a funny way, because we want to joke, but the words have energy, and they can
mm,
make or break the person, what you tell them. And so I always say, your thoughts, your words, your actions, our emotions are very, very much part of your praying to God. So when I think
mhm,
in an ill way, I'm sending that ill way to God, and I will get it. Whatever it is that I'm sending, and we learn from the Eastern philosophy, the law of karma, is that whatever you do, it's going to come back to you. Even in all the religions, in Christianity and Islam and Judaism, all the religions, they have the same thing.
mhm.
It's whatever
Yeah.
you do, it will come back to you. So we have to be careful of how we think. And we have to think in a pure way, nice way, in others, look at them in a genuine way. And then when we talk, the words that comes out from our mouth, the beauty of the Creator made the word come from these, they pass into the taste buds. So in our tongue. So that tells me that I should taste every word that comes out. And I have to be careful. What can some people, they caress in such a way. I mean, you know, don't they taste the word they say it? And and that's another thing that I always contemplate, of that, taking care. We used to have those monkeys, hear no evil, see no evil, and talk no evil. That's exactly what it is. It's like, you don't want to hear things that are rubbish, or that are energy depleting things. You don't want to smell things that are not good. You don't want to see things that are not good. So always see the good things. Always be positive. Look at the situation, what you can learn from it. Not like, oh, I'm victim. No, there is a lesson. There is a huge lesson from it. And we all been through challenges, through the situation, and they all passed. They didn't stay. They're like a cloud that passes. And
Mhm.
sometimes we keep them, and we like carrying them like luggage with us for a lot of time, especially like, this two monks. You know the story of the two monks, Liz.
I'm not sure that I know it, but I have a feeling I know the essence of the story, but I would love if you would share it because I don't think I actually know this story.
The two monks, one senior guy and one junior guy, they were walking to go to their place, and they passed by a lady, a little lady with very nicely dressed. She was crying. So they went to her, what's wrong? And she said, I have a wedding party, and it's across the stream. The stream usually is dry. So she crosses and goes. But this time it has water in it. So she couldn't cross the stream, and she's crying because she's missing the wedding. So the young chap carried her, and he crossed the stream, and she was safe, and she thanked him, and the senior guy was kept telling him, you're not supposed to carry her, you're not supposed to touch her, this is forbidden in our culture. And then they walked, and then they went there the whole day, and then they had lunch, they had dinner, and then they're about to sleep. This guy is sitting in his bed. The same guy came to him and he said, excuse me, why did you carry the lady in the morning? He looked at him and said, you're still remembering the lady. I carried her for 5 to 3 minutes, and you are still you are carrying her more than me. You're carrying her in
Mm,
mind, you're putting her in mind. So sometimes that's what we do. We carry stuff. Just put full stop and move on. New
mm,
page, go on. Because when you start asking too many whys and stuff and go deep, and you start to create, from the little pain into a hurt, by
mm.
thinking about it and talking about it and, telling everybody and complaining and, you know, just full stop and move on. I don't know if
We,
you can resonate with that, your audience.
yes. Oh, absolutely. I say this a lot because I come from a very yogic philosophy
Mm,
background, which is why I got into the world I'm in now. Um, Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. And pain is a physical sensation. It's an experience. But we don't have to identify with the pain as something unmanageable, as something that brings us great suffering, that brings us great hurt. We can identify with pain as a sensation and
mm,
actually use it and thank it for that
mm,
attention to there is something in my life that is causing me to focus on this. And if we just keep thinking, well, why is this pain here? Why do I have to experience this pain? What a blah, blah, blah. And we create this suffering instead of going,
why
okay,
me?
pain.
Why me? Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of saying, okay, pain, you're pointing as a signal. You're literally a signpost to say, pay attention. Okay, I'm
Mhm.
paying attention. And when we can look honestly, and this is, it's a challenge because we've been literally conditioned
Condition.
to be dishonest, even with ourselves. How are you today? Fine. Wh- Why don't like no you're not. Your words say fine, but your vibration says otherwise. And
Mhm.
so when we can actually just say, "You know what? I'm actually not okay today." And that's okay.
Yes,
I
agree.
have this pain in my body, and why do I have this pain in my body? Because pain is the physical manifestation when we didn't pay attention to the subtler symptoms along the way. We get the pain. If you paid attention from the beginning, you wouldn't have to pay for it in the pain. And so it's just part of that journey of like, we can, and not to say toxic positivity either. It's not like, oh, let's just say everything's rainbows and butterflies and like ignore the problem. No, if you've got a
Sure. Yeah,
challenge,
yeah.
attend to it. If you've got an issue, okay, work through it. And to dismiss or to minimize somebody else's suffering is also not helpful
No.
because they might really be going through something that needs to be talked about, that needs to be aired out. It's when it turns into that toxicness of all you're doing is complaining and you don't actually want a solution, or all you're doing is saying stay positive and you're actually avoiding the pain and avoiding the issue. This is where we go on those tangents where it's like, okay, we're not serving either end, we're just kind of bypassing life. And this life, this full spectrum human experience, we came to experience it all, the
Yes.
good, the bad, and everything in between.
The good, bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, all of it. And it's also, and people say the ugly, but I go the beautiful. It
Yeah.
is so beautiful because we as humans, like, think about an animal. I can't speak from the perspective of an animal, like a dog or a cat. I'm not that. But they don't experience the full spectrum that we experience. They don't have the cognition or the words or the creativity to share it in the way that we do. That is a gift. That is a beautiful thing. Of course, they still have feelings, they have sentiments that I
Yes.
can't possibly know what their experience is. Yet we do know as humans from the human um, research that's been done that we have a metacognition, the ability to think about our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, our everything. And that is a gift. So yeah, it might be ugly, but it's also so, so beautiful.
I will make it beautiful. No ugly. No more ugly word.
I mean, and it can be ugly. That's allowed too. It's all allowed. That's the best part, right? Like it doesn't have to be one or the other. It's both and.
Yes, yes.
Mm. Um, I would love to just do a few of the favorite questions I love to ask on this podcast to people because I feel like this allows people to hear different perspectives and gain insight into themselves. So you mentioned that in you went back to your office that one day and you're just like, I quit. And you
Yeah.
knew you were gonna leave and you just trusted yourself and your wife maybe wasn't happy, but you knew. In moments where doubt or uncertainty arises, how do you trust yourself to make aligned decisions? Because as the human, we're going to have doubts sometimes, but how do you know? What does your intuition feel or sound like when it speaks to you? What is that signal for you that says, this is it?
It's I think I don't know if it's intuition or the values that that you have uh, that dictates how you take the decision,
Mm,
especially a difficult decision like this. Um, when things are you see it are not aligned with your values deep down and your belief system, you kind of see, you will not be comfortable. So if it's not comfortable, then leave it. I always say to people that, if you're not happy, if you're like every time you're going to work and every time you're calling sick and you're just thinking of the leave and you're just there as a bodily being, your heart, your soul is not there. Why are you there?
mm,
Just leave. And it's true, it's a courageous decision, but it's the best decision that ever made. If I didn't make the decision, I don't know if I'm still alive or not, or if I met you or not. you know, that changed my entire life, made me see other people, made me feel more, meet, people at the international level. I have now families everywhere. I could consider them my friends, my families everywhere in the world because of that decision, and that opened up. They say when they close a door, there is thousands door there to open. And yes, that's what exactly happened. And in year three, I started bringing the same income that I used to bring, working only 6 months a year. Yeah.
bravo. That's so beautiful. And I want to, that part's important to highlight because, pardon me. Again, I I deal with wanting to always make sure that we're talking to both ends of the spectrum. There are people where, like you, could confidently say, I have the money that I need right now. I'm just going to leave this job because it's not making me happy and it's out of alignment. It's not in integrity with who I am. And then you were able to quickly, within a few years, make the money that like showed you, well, duh, that works, of course. When people are in survival mode, when they are literally still very enmeshed in the matrix and trapped in the system of, I have to work in order to feed my kids. I have to work in order to keep the light, like that really deeply entrenched of, I need to work to survive. And they can't just say, I'll just leave my job.
Yes.
because they don't yet have the trust muscle for themselves or for the outer experience that says, no, you'll be divinely supported, there is a different way. Do you have any advice that would help them bridge the gap while they're still in this space where it's
Thank
like,
you.
I need my job
Thank
and
you. Question is very important. Thank you.
mhm,
Very important. See, and I was prepared to leave. I didn't leave just like that. I know what I'm going to do after leaving. So it's better for everyone. First of all, you cannot be attached to a job. You have to, because some people I advise, sometimes my relatives, you know, I advise them to leave the work and go look for another job or to update their CV. Some of the organizations, they take you for granted if you are there. Okay, so you will not grow because they know you are nice and stuff, and because you are been there all the time, and because you are afraid of leaving because this is a secure job. And then we spend 8 hours at least at work, and then we spend more time at work than we spend at home. So our life is work, is our life, really. I mean, when we are awake, when we are, and the job really has a lot of advantage, not only the salary, the communicate, the knowledge that you get, the skills that you get, the interactions, the relationship that you build. You cannot build them without the job. So there are a lot of advantages of the job, and there are people who are excelling in their job and they're reaching, the summit in their job. That's fine. But if it's a toxic, then your life, it's better for you to live your life. It's not to stay in that place where you are dreading it, you don't sleep well, your health is deteriorating, you are not happy. Then it's immediately that's signs for you to look at it. Now, don't jump to in a business that you are not familiar with. At least prepare yourself while you are at the job. Take some training, travel. For example, if you want to open a restaurant, go and work in a restaurant. Get certified in being a chef. You know, uh, understand the operation of having restaurant, how you source the foods, and so on. What kind of restaurant you want to open. So all these kind of things, you have to prepare it before you leave the 9 to 5.
mhm,
So when you leave the 9 to 5, at least you have the foundation, you know how you're gonna start and how what you do, but not to leave the job and immediately. I had zero income. I mean, after leaving the job, but I knew that I'm gonna open my company or already prepared the papers, the
mhm,
documentation and so on, choose the office already. Uh, Before that, I know what programs that I'm going to start with. And yeah, day by day and year by year, it's built now. I have so many programs that I can offer and services that I can offer my client in Kuwait and abroad.
mm. Thank you for bridging that gap because I think it's so important that people hear that there was preparation, there was thought, there was consideration, and also know that sometimes it's okay also to just be like, bye, I got to get out of here because you know yourself best. And if that is your situation, if it's that bad, can you trust yourself enough to know that you'll figure it out no matter what? And if you're kind of in that middle ground, just take your time. It doesn't have to be overnight, but if your belief system does not support whatever transition you make, I would say get your beliefs in alignment first, then move. Because if your beliefs support, yeah, I'm going to leap into the arms of the universe and the universe will catch me, go for it. But if your belief
Mhm.
systems are not there, please take a um, more slow route, shall we say, because it can be cautious, but it doesn't have to be cautious. It could just be like calculated or slow.
Calculated, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
See, we believe that God is the giver, right?
yes,
So everything that we have is from God.
Mm-hmm.
And we will leave this earth, planet Earth, without anything. As
Mm-hmm.
we will leave. So having that in mind, and although we are eternal being as souls, we will stay forever, hopefully. But the idea is that uh, that God, He's the giver, and then why do I think that the giver is my boss or my company or my this? No, the giver is God. So when you have that belief, as you said, uh, um, the divine will be with you. The universe will be with you, will guide you because that's what they do. I mean, they are the ones who give us. They are the givers. It's the giver. The universe is the givers, and whatever we have so far, it's all from God. So having that, it makes you more relaxed. It makes
Yes.
you believe and take a step forward.
And I'm going to speak again to the audience who is listening and is saying, I hear you, but I don't feel it. Because again, I love to always make sure I'm speaking to everybody. If you have that faith that can move mountains, if you have that knowingness about how God, the universe, source works, then you know you're divinely supported no matter what. If you've forgotten that, this is your call to remembrance. This is your moment to remember who you are, remember the source of everything, and to anchor more into your faith, whatever that looks like for you. You can have a religion, you can have just a deep knowingness that everything in the universe is connected, you can have a spiritual aspect or sense. You could just totally believe in yourself and think that you are it. Whatever your belief system is, remember who you are, because this is what this journey is about. You are not enslaved except for the chains and the bondage that you put on the confines of your own mind. And once you can start to dismantle and disconnect from that, you remember your power and you are able to reclaim your sovereignty and move in the direction that you say you prefer, not just the one that you're doing because you think you have to do it.
Yeah. It's totally different mindset when you want to rather than when you have to.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that little switch in the word makes a big difference. I get to, I want to, I'm looking forward to, I love to, versus I have to. This is something I must do. That energetic shift is so huge, and it makes all the difference because your subconscious literally has no other experience but itself. And
Very
so
true.
it only ever comes from a first person perspective. So no matter what you say about somebody else or about yourself, your subconscious is always listening. And when you just simply change the way you speak, you change your vibration and you change your whole outcome in life.
You create your life.
We do. We are the co creators of our reality. I just want to take a moment to express my sincere gratitude and appreciation for you being here and tuning into this podcast. It is my absolute joy and passion to share these conscious conversations with you. And it is my desire that more and more people will get to tune into these conscious conversations and solo episodes so that they too can expand their horizons to see what is possible and to know more of themselves through these conscious conversations. If you're liking the podcast so far, it would mean so much to me if you would hit like, if you would subscribe, and if you'd even share this podcast out. And please leave a comment. Let me know you're there. I'd love to start a dialogue with you and share some more conscious conversations. And as we know, when we share these things out, when we like, when we support, when we subscribe to channels, it boosts the visibility on YouTube, on Spotify, and on Apple. And it is really and truly my desire to make sure that this podcast reaches all those it's meant to. And your help is greatly appreciated in that process. So I would love for you to be a part of this growing community. And thank you already for being here. So thank you for every bit of love and encouragement and energy you send our way. I'm so grateful. Also, if you'd like to come on the pod and have a conscious conversation with me, there's a form that you can fill out in the show notes below to apply to be a guest on Heart's Home. I would love to have a conscious conversation with you. I'd love to get to know you and chat with you to uplift the collective consciousness. So, if that sounds like your jam, fill out the form in the show notes, and I'll be in touch. Okay, so let's have a couple other little gems here. If you could go forward and talk to your future self, what question would you ask them?
I don't know. I find this question difficult a bit. Why? Because now we're creating our future, right?
Hmm.
So we're doing it now by the way we think, the way we talk, and the way what action we're doing. We're building our future. So if I look at myself in the future, I'm gonna ask myself. I'm not gonna ask myself. I'm gonna tell myself, "You made it, man."
Okay, I accept that answer.
Yeah, I would say, you made it, and you figured it out, and lucky you.
Bravo. Yeah, I like that. Just high five yourself. Cool. That's
Yes.
perfect. Uh, and for you, we talked about success, we
Mm,
talked about the journey.
yeah.
What does it mean to live a fully satisfying life?
Satisfying is being content, is being happy with what you have, and really, we have a lot. We have a lot. I mean, you know, you could be grateful for the button. If it
Hmm.
wasn't will not look good, for example. So many things we couldn't be
Yes.
grateful for, but we are not, these simple stuff that we should, I'm breathing, there's abundance of air for everyone, for the trees, for the animals, for me, and for everybody. Imagine if we have to buy air, how
Right?
yeah. So God given is like showing us like these abundance, even water and stuff. So thinking that I am fortunate to be on this planet Earth, to experience all these experiences by itself should mm, make me feel content and grateful all the time. Having my legs that takes me from here and there and walking and exercising and stuff, it's blessing. It's like, smelling flowers, smelling nice stuff. It's blessing. There's so many things that we ought to look at in our life and appreciate. That would make us feel, live with abundance, live, from rather than lack, from, having. And
Mm.
I like one of the guys who said, about triple A. In America they have triple A. It's the automotive assistant association, something like that. So you pay
Yes.
something, you pay some dollars, and if your cars break down, you call triple A, they come and rescue it. He says we have a triple A as well. Okay, when you are in a situation, think of the triple A. Number one is acknowledge. A, acknowledge what you have, not what you don't have, what you have, and you have a lot. Every one of us have a lot. The second A is appreciate what you have. Just appreciate it. Hmm? And then the last is allow for the next things to happen. So
Mm.
use those triple A's. Your life will be happy. You'll be content. And when you're happy, you'll be successful. You'll radiate good energy. You'll have peace. You'll be surrounded by good people, and you will grow and live life
Mm,
greatly.
that's beautiful. The triple A, I love that one. That sounds so beautiful. And it's something very similar to I write, and I think you know that
Yeah,
I write a lot. And in one of my journals, I talk about like there's like 5 or 6 A's, but
yeah,
appreciation and acknowledgement and allowance are three of them that are in there. And I talk about the awareness,
yes,
the action, the
yeah,
anticipation, like all of these things as well. There we can just think of like you know everything that is in our experience is here for a reason. And I love that if you just acknowledge, appreciate, and allow, of course, so smooth. So, so smooth. Whew. Okay, so then I would like to just know the reason you and I met
yeah.
was because you walked through my door and you came to a vision board workshop that I hosted a couple years ago. And that was so fun for me. And in that vision board, oh, you still have it right there.
So
That's
the
so
vision board we get together.
beautiful. Oh, I love that it's right there. That's so nice. And
Yeah,
I loved your vision board also because it was so simple and it
yeah,
was so focused. And as a multi passionate, my energy is always like, I want 100 million things. And you're like, one thing. And I'm like, just one thing.
yeah.
And you were focusing on one thing, that one thing being your book. How you share us a little bit about that? How's it going? How's that experience? How are you anchoring into that every day?
Uh, Things are good. I mean, I didn't publish in 2024. I hope I will finish it. I will finish it in 2025.
Yes.
Uh, Last year, I met my mentor in one of the conferences, and I told him about my book. And I told him, I want you to be my co-author. Now he was signing his book in the conference with his co-author. Okay. And I was in between them, hugging them. Somebody is taking picture of me. And he was signing for people who are, bought the book, and he's signing. And I told him about the book, and he looked at me like this, Hamza, are you ready with the book? I said, yeah. And I told him, the chapters. And he said, talk to my assistant. And I was
Mm.
like, yes, I'm.
Yeah.
You know why, Liz? Because I had two books. I have a book like 12 years back, and I just dropped it from my agenda. And another book came like 3, 4 years back, and that's the one I'm focusing on. Why? Because deep down, I am scared.
Mm.
I'm fearful of, publishing a book that nobody reads, or somebody reads it and they say, what's this rubbish? And that happened to me, something you brought the first 7 years. When I was young, I started writing poetries, just, 5 lines, and it has to rhyme and so on. And my older brother, who I admire a lot, he's an artist, and he has many talented person. So I showed him my little booklet with some little poets. And he read, and he looked and he said, this is rubbish, man. This is not
Mm.
that. I believe so. That what made the drama in me, or not the drama, the kind of uh,
Here.
phobia of publishing or writing or doing something artistic or creative like that. So I wanted to hang on with already a publisher, a big writer, and to have his name next to my name was like, wow. And I did that in my vision board, by the way. So he said yes, and I started doing, working more, and I submitted the script, only to find out after 2 weeks, their internal editors. She said he's busy writing a book with his son, and it's not going to be nice, writing 2 books in the same year. So maybe, and he's willing to write you a forward and recommend your book and so on. So I thanked them and I said, yeah, okay, fine. But this made me kind of saying, no, leave it a bit, you know? And I came back to that. Now, uh, in November, I said, no, this is it. I'm gonna finish it. So I wrote most of it. I just like put everything that I know. And each chapters, now I have 4 chapters and all organized. Each chapter has 6 sections. And I am now editing and putting things and deleting stuff, and it's too much, and I'm getting some, so I'm working on that. Almost I'm finishing first chapter. Within a week or so I'll start the second chapter. Yes, so I'm working toward finalizing it, and just and using my mentor again to recommend me to the publisher, and I'm gonna publish it. Hopefully, I want to do it by May.
I am
I
so
think,
happy to hear that you are going for it, and you know that while of course having somebody else co-author is lovely, that you got this and you're doing it yourself and you are going to rock it,
yes,
and whatever comes of it, if it's by May, perfect.
it's a
If
learning.
it's
It's a
not,
learning thing.
you have, what you're showing yourself is how capable you are, how powerful you are, and how worthy you are of people reading your words.
Uh, Again, Liz, it's like something that happens to us, and maybe to protect us when we were
Mhm.
children. It's
Mhm.
nagging on us till date. To break
Mhm.
it is to go the other way, just to do
Yeah.
it.
That we have to
I
feel
want to
the
be.
fear, and we have to feel the fear and do it
Yeah.
anyway. Walk through the
Yes.
fear, because on the
Yes.
other side of our fear is our manifestation. It lands as soon as we go, fear, you are literally false evidence appearing real. You're not real. I'm just going to walk through you and prove to myself, because it's not about proving to anybody else. It's just
Yeah.
knowing
Yes.
who you are and proving to yourself what you already knew to be true. You just need to have the courage to do it. And you're courageous, and I'm energetically supporting you. I think of you so often in your book,
Thank
and I just
you.
send
Thank
out
you.
some love and light about
I
that, and I
appreciate
look forward to reading it. And I also want to give you and anybody else who wants a little like cute boost to read.
it.
It's this story called Ish by, I want to say his first name's Peter Reynolds. He writes
Mm.
children's books, and
Okay.
his book called Ish is one of my favorite books of all time. So
What is
this,
it
and
called?
I'll just Ish, ISH.
Oh,
And I'll just give you a quick synopsis. I mean,
yes.
I'll just tell you the story. It's super fast. The child, it's a little boy or maybe a girl, I don't remember, drawing the pictures, and
Mhm.
he's drawing some, like I think a flower at the beginning, and he doesn't like it. He crumbles it up and he throws it. And
Right.
his older sibling like scoops up the paper and runs away with it. And the kid follows the sibling to the room, and the sibling is uncrumpling the paper, and he looks in his sibling's room, and all on the wall are all
It's
of his papers that he's crumpled up, all of his drawings.
amazing.
And
Wow.
he stands there and he goes, but it doesn't even look like the thing. And he says, well, he says, I was trying to draw a flower. And he's like, well, it looks flower ish.
Mm.
And he says, and that one was supposed to be the vase, and it looks vase ish. And that one looks fish-ish.
Yes.
And so it's like it doesn't have to be perfect. And it is our gift to the world to get it out there, even if it's not perfect yet. And this is coming from a recovering perfectionist. I literally wouldn't put anything out there, including my podcast, for like a good 8 months. I silenced my voice because I couldn't get it perfect. And then when I realized it was actually far more selfish of me to not be sharing in its imperfection these conversations that might expand somebody else's horizon to know what's possible for them, that I was able to go, this isn't about me. This is in service to others. This is in service to God. And when you're doing something for a higher purpose, when you're letting that mission channel through you, it no longer matters if it's perfect or not. It's about, are you taking action? Going back to that idea of karma, because karma really means action. And it's that balancing of the action that we do. So it's the idea of what goes out comes back to you, but we're doing it to keep ourselves in balance. And so when we take action, when we follow our path of rightness, our dharma, our unique path, somebody has the capacity to receive it. Our goal is to just get it out there. So thank you
Liz,
for that.
thank you, Liz. I see on top of your head a full moon.
It's not actually the moon, it's a reflection.
It looks nice.
It does look nice. Yeah, no, it's a reflection from my light above me, but the moon is
Okay.
over there and the moon is still, but I'll take it.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for the way you share, because I think this will be so inspiring to the listeners, the viewers, whoever they're turning in. And I have to ask you to share the most beautiful piece of wisdom that you would like, or it could be an intuitive hit, it could be a blessing, it could be your unique energy, whatever you want to infuse into the cosmic baton that you still hold. If you'll just take a minute to think about what you want to pass on to the next conscious conversation guest, and then infuse that and share it with us.
I love, there was a movie, uh, what's his name now? I forgot the actor. He's very famous. I love him. Uh, Anyways, the movie was with gorillas and stuff like that. And in the movie, he says, like, there is a big challenge. And then he says, yes, I did it. Yes, I did it. What a man can do, another can. And
Mm,
that became like, what a man can do, another can, became my philosophy. And man here, we mean a person, man meaning
yes.
human being. Uh, so anyone, uh, if anyone reached any, like, like anyone who reached like Mount Everest, anyone else can reach Mount Everest. It was the first person who reached Mount Everest that made the other reach Mount Everest. So what a man can do, another can. Is something that inspires people, and you feel that, oh, if she can do it, I can do it. If he can do it, I can do it. If someone else can do it, I've done it. In any way, provided you're passionate, you want it. If you want it, you can learn it, you can be it, and you can do it, and you can live it. It's You have the capability. Okay, so that's my baton to give it to others.
Thank you. And I receive that with so much love, and I look forward to passing that on to our next guest, and to continue to weave the cosmic thread of life throughout this series. So I really, really appreciate that. And before we go, if you will give yourself that shameless plug, how can people find you? How can they connect with you? If they want to know more about you, if they want to work with you, where can they find you? And of course, I'll leave all the information in the show notes below. But what's your best way to get in contact?
Well, I'm in all social media. I have my YouTube channel. I'm on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on TikTok. I have my, company, Knowledge Consulting, which is knowledge.com.kw. And you can reach me. I mean, even in my phones, my CVs, my work is all there. I'm just, distributing everything. So when you Google my name, you can find everything. Yeah, just
Perfect. And yeah, I will leave it all in the show notes too, just so that people can click and find you with ease.
thank you.
And if there's anything else you want to say before we wrap up and sign off, the floor is yours.
Well, I just want to thank you, Liz. I want to, appreciate your energy that you're putting and the space that you're doing. It's really beautiful, and I wish you all the best. You and your audience, wish you a lovely life, beautiful life, full of peace, happiness, wisdom to you and your loved ones.
Mm, thank you. I receive that with so much love in all loving ways. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you for this expansive conversation. Thank you for your joy that you bring to this world. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for being who you be. I'm so grateful that you are my friend, that we are connected. And I know that this is, divine guidance. So thank you so much for being here today. And
Welcome,
to
my
everybody
friend. The
who
pleasure is all mine. Really,
Mm,
I'm humbly and honored to be with you.
thank you. And our audience, thank you for tuning in. I am so grateful that you are here. All right. And if you have anything that you would like to share with us, comment with us, if something resonated with you, please, of course, leave it in the comments. You can take a screenshot with the timestamp, post it on social media, tag us in it. We love to share what resonates because we'll share that out with you and the rest of our community. And thank you so much. For the next time that we tune in, we'll be sharing Hamza's Cosmic Baton with our next Conscious Conversation guest episode. It has been a pleasure and an honor as always. So, from my heart to yours, namaste
Namaste. Namaste to you.
and peace out.